Hello, my name is Noah Swinson, and the book that I read was called Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This was a book about two college athletes who both like to spend time on the ice. The girl, her name was Anastasia. Everyone called her Stas or Stassi, and she was a figure skater. The boy's name was Nathan, and he was a hockey player. So ultimately, Aaron, who is Anastasia's figure skating partner, gets hurt, and Nathan is caught feelings for her before all this happened. So obviously he decides to try and be her figure skating partner. And it all kind of just goes uphill and then downhill, a lot of change of plot, and I really did enjoy the book. I would consider the book to be a great book based off the way it easily showed the five elements I think that every great book needs. Those elements were storytelling, unique style, effective dialogue, compelling characters, and originality. The author did a great job on using most of these elements 100%, but what she messed up with one, she made up with another. So this is the Padlet that I created for my book. Let's get in the first element, which is storytelling. The author did a really good job with storytelling, and I think that she definitely hit it out of the park with this one. And what I really liked about her storytelling is how she brought characters into the development of the book. She really made it easy for her audience to understand where her characters came from, their upbringing, how some of them had it harder than the others, and some of them had it really easily. And she made it really easy to know what was going on. She also left some suspense in there at the end of the chapters, which once you just read more and forget about stopping at the end of a chapter, so you felt like you always had to read it to the next chapter. Next, we have my author's style. Her style is very unique. She did have it to where we could see both perspectives of the two main characters, Nate and Anastasia, where they switched off every other chapter. And this really allowed me to understand what was going through both their heads, and I really did like this. One thing that I haven't seen in any other book that I like that the author did here is there was a scene where it was Nate and she was displaying him texting and actually showed the screen, well, made it like a screen and indented the words to where it looked like they were texting in this group chat. It's called Puck Bunnies. And it was like this screen looking thing that that she put up there, and it was really cool because it felt like you were actually texting and you could actually see what was going on and how Nate was texting, and I really liked that, as I haven't seen that in any other book that I've read. Next, we got effective dialogue. I feel like with dialogue, it's a hard thing to nail, and I would say that this book really wasn't up to pair with how good they did on everything else. Their dialogue could have been a little bit better. It felt like there just honestly wasn't enough. But when she did bring it in, it was all very like, I felt like whenever they were talking, it was all jokes. There wasn't much serious dialogue, as it is like a college book, and I understand all the parties and all that. But everything was just all jokes, and you couldn't really build any deeper connections with them knowing backstory through dialogue. But I did like some of the funny stuff they said about like all the humor that Robbie and Nate had between each other. I liked their relationship, and that was showed a lot well through dialogue for sure. Next, we'll talk about the characters. I thought that the author did a great job with this element, the compelling characters. It was really easy to love some of the characters and really easy to hate some of the characters. The characters that I loved were people like Nate, Anastasia, Lo, Robbie, and Henry. They were all just like super sweet and super easy to get along with. Like Nate, he's a big, strong hockey player, kind of stereotypical popular kid. And I really liked how it showed how he wasn't all just popular and how he had a rough life at home. Henry was a quiet kid who Nate looked after. It was almost like his younger brother. I really like how he was brought in. And then Stassi was just a good girlfriend. Lo was the girlfriend's friend. And they were all just really super easy to understand and know what was going on. with them 24/7. One character I really hated was Aaron, but the book wanted you to hate Aaron. He was the former figure skating teammate of Anastasia who falsely accused Nathan of hurting him when he definitely didn't, and that kind of spooled up a big mess between the whole friend group, and it just really like makes you hate him, I guess. It's the only way to put it. But that's what the author wants you to hate him. And then there was stuff when Nate would get back at him, and it just made you feel even better for him, Nate. The final element I have up on here is originality. And I would say that the author really knocked it out the park with this one as well. So with originality, it can kind of be hard to find something original in a book topic like this, as there are a bunch of party books, college books, and love books for even that. But I like how she included sports with love. I don't feel like that's used a lot in books, and I feel like that's really cool for me because I do love sports, and I feel like it brings people to closer, and this book really shows it. One thing I also did love that I thought was really original is most sports books I've read haven't been hockey. Being in the Midwest, I don't even think Kansas City has a hockey team or anything like that. I could be wrong on that. Don't fact check me, but I feel like it was cool to read a book about a main character being a hockey player and how he was popular at his school for playing hockey, which is something that wouldn't really be here in the Midwest. So I thought that was a great touch. So to sum it all up, I believe that my book, Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, was a great book because of the way it accurately showed my 5 elements and how hooked it had me from the beginning. I personally would recommend this book to anyone who loves sports, loves seeing something new or reading about something new, and loves really descriptive scenes. I wouldn't recommend this book to anyone who doesn't like the multiple perspective thing where they switch between any chapters, or this book can get on your temper, but if you just kind of roll along with it, it really shows out on how it can be good. And I really did enjoy this book. I would definitely read something like it again. The author has other books kind of similar with other characters that I'll have to check out as well, and I definitely will want to.